What's up, Plant Junkies? Jody here for another plant video from plantjunkiecreations.com. I'm going to be going over the basic plant care of the Monstera esqueleto, as well as how I propagated this plant. Before I get into the basic care of this plant, I thought I'd give you a little information about her. So I originally purchased her in May as a 2-leaf cutting. This leaf right here, which is pretty beat up and damaged and ripped up. I'm not really liking that. And then this leaf as well. Since then, she has put off a new leaf right here. If I can hold her still. And is currently putting off a new leaf. And when I purchased her, I noticed she had an extra node at the bottom, which I propagated, and I'll get into a little bit more detail at the end of the video, but she's also putting off a new leaf. The light requirement for this plant will tolerate medium to bright and direct light. I currently have this plant on a plant stand right here under a grow light a little ways away. It also receives light from an east window, a west window, and a southwest facing window. And I find that this plant thrives best in that bright and direct light. The Monstera esqueleto really likes a well-draining mix. It's currently in a wood-based chunky epiphytic mix, which looks like this. So there is a lot of coconut husk as well as cocoa coir, tree bark, perlite, and charcoal. I water this plant on a 10 to 14 day cycle. It currently is in a 6-inch terracotta pot, which helps absorb some of that extra moisture so it's not sitting in water for too long. I notice with this plant, it is somewhat drought tolerant, so you can let it almost nearly dry out before watering again. And the way that I water this plant is I give it a good splash till the water drips out, and then I'll just quickly splash it again until the water drips out, and then I'll place it back on its saucer. This indoor tropical plant in this wood-based medium doesn't hold a lot of nutrients, so it really depends on us to fertilize. I typically fertilize 2 times a month during the growing season. So when you see new growth coming, that's a good time to fertilize. And what I use, I rotate between this and these. The first one I use is hydrolyzed fish and seaweed fertilizer from Neptune Harvest, as well as CalMag and iron. So being a big green foliage type plant, CalMag and iron are your friend, but every plant really loves the nutrients of this. When propagating this plant, I found really easy. As scared as I was because I spent a lot of money on this plant, and I didn't want either or of the plant to die on me. So like I said, at the base of this cutting, I noticed this just an extra node. So I took the risk, and I just wanted to zoom you in so you could actually see what's going on here. So she has this, and then she had this node, and that's what caught my eye. Is I noticed there was a tiny little leaf that potentially could grow another plant. And so I did. I took a cutting and and I waited for the end of this cutting as well as that node cutting to callus over until I didn't see any more moisture. And since this is a well-draining chunky mix and there was roots at the base of that node cutting, I just buried her in with the same pot. And with the top cutting, I just buried her in too. And she's just put off a bunch of new growth. Like if I'm examining, kind of pushing away the dirt here a little bit. Let's see if you can see. So here is a node, and I'm noticing there's another one of those green little nubs right there. So this plant has already taken root. It's actually producing more root nubs that are gonna grow into the soil there. What I could do if I really wanted to is I could cut this right here and plant this one in here. But I'm gonna wait till the next growing season, let her establish more into this pot before doing so. So I'm gonna use the same technique where I just bury this top cutting into the soil. And since I took that cutting right here, it's gonna promote that leaf. It's gonna activate it to grow. And then by then, this plant will have taken off. So it was really easy. Not always is it easy to propagate monsteras. I will be having another video of me butchering a variegated monstera I had and failed, but also succeeded with just one of 5 or 6 leaves. There's a story behind it, but I'm gonna share it with you guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Also be sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy watching plant videos.